Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today's special Sampai to celebrate Meishusama's birthday. And very soon in Japan, they are going to have December 23rd soon. And today, I'd like to show you updated version of Meishusama's YouTube. Originally, it was created about 15 years ago. First, it all started with Gerard Roofing. Do you remember Gerard? Yes. And Alan and I gave all the information about Meishusama and asked him to write a storybook of Meishusama. And he spent years and years, and it really helped him to receive light from Meishusama. And his life was transformed. When he came to Hollywood Center, first, he was a hermit. Hermit? Yes, away from the real world. He didn't want to deal with the people. Daytime, so he slept daytime, and then nighttime he do something. He didn't want to see people. But one day, accidentally, the security door was opened, and the young man, the seagull, a Japanese youth member, who was visiting door to door to share Joray, Henry came into the security door, and then he was knocking the doors. And then Gerard opened the door, and you are not supposed to be here. But the security door was opened, so he received Joray. Little by little, to make a long story short, he visited the center. And although he didn't want to deal with the people, he felt good. And then he received the ohikari, and he started coming every day, many years, every day. And then years passed, he realized when he was upstairs in the Hollywood Center, chanting, waiting for the Sampai, and then downstairs, the kids, including mine, they were not making noise. And he didn't hate those kids' voices. Used to be, he really hated happy voices, especially. He hated to hear the happy people saying. But he was amused. He was happy to hear voices of children. And he realized he changed. He really changed. And so the wonderful book was created by Gerard Roofing. And then we decided to create a video to make a short. And Yasushi Fujimoto, who was the artist in Pennsylvania, he created the beautiful the drawings of Meishusama's life. And he depicted some scenes, and he drew. And it was taken as a photo. So with many people's collaboration and help, this video was created. And most recently, about a week ago, this was updated. Now the Hollywood, in old movies, now they become renewed and more vivid color and better sound. So this is the most updated version. 3D, no, not yet. Not yet. Yeah. But I want you to see this video and then see what you get. What is the message from Meishusama to you? each of you, each of us is unique. We have a different life right now, and some life challenges and happy moment, and each of us are different. And by watching this video, each of us receive a different message. I'd like to hear what you got. Okay. Meishusama talking to you.
The Life Story of Meishusama.
Like all stories, it begins simply on a cold winter's night, when the wind whistled around the eaves of a little single-room wood and paper house, standing on a narrow dirt street where the houses huddled together for warmth. On this cold December night in 1882, joy would also come into this home. A son would be born, and the name they would choose for him would be Mokichi. In time, he would eventually be known as Meishusama, Master of Light. Mokichi began to toddle about and grew into a happy little boy. Soon, he was old enough to help his family sell second-hand goods from their home. He especially loved helping his mother around the house because it made her smile. On evenings without rain, he could be found eagerly pushing the family cart to the nearby temple grounds, where his family would sell their second-hand items to the crowds of people who flocked there. As time went on, he later wrote, "I was able to push the handcart, which bore not only our merchandise, but our hopes for the future." These outings to the temple grounds also gave Mokichi a chance to experience trees, birds, and flowers. He loved nature and being in natural surroundings. Although Mokichi had always been a little weak and sickly, many illnesses began to plague him when he entered school. When Mokichi was a teenager, he often sat studying and reading while the other students had active social lives, played sports, or went on school trips. It was then that books became his new friends. And because of the illnesses he suffered when he was a teenager and later on in life, he had great empathy for all those who came to him with health problems. Despite his illnesses, Mokichi was always first or second in his class. At 14, his good grades helped him gain entrance to the famous school, now known as Tokyo National University of Fine Arts and Music. 6 months after entering that school, Mokichi developed an infection in his right eye. This ended his lifelong dream of studying art. Mokichi's heart was filled with anguish, since no one could predict if or when his eyesight might improve. He finally wrote a letter requesting permission to leave school. More illnesses followed. First came pleurisy, a lung disease. The doctors were able to relieve Mokichi's symptoms once, but when the symptoms returned, the doctors brought him the terrible news that he was now suffering from a dreaded disease known as TB, pulmonary tuberculosis. There would be 2 more times in his lifetime when doctors would tell Mokichi that he was going to die from one illness or another. But he kept a positive attitude and overcame his many illnesses. Mokichi noticed the medications the doctors gave him over the years for his various illnesses helped very little and had bad side effects. Later on in life, Mokichi would often warn people, "Medicine makes our bodies weak." His life in a shambles at 19 Mokichi decided to take his health into his own hands. He experimented by switching to a vegetarian diet, and his health began to improve. Soon he was free of the TB that had haunted him, and as each day passed, he grew stronger. Intent on encouraging his good health, Mokichi took up walking and hiking in the mountains as exercise and continued walking all his life. But suddenly, at the age of 53, his father died. Mokichi's father left him enough money to open a sundry shop where he sold beautiful purses, hairpins, and jewelry. On September 1st, 1923, one of the biggest earthquakes in Japan destroyed most of Tokyo. The destruction of most of the city also destroyed his business. It was then that Mokichi took a long, hard look at his life. He began to wonder and search for the spiritual meaning and purpose of life. There was nothing left to do but to return to God. In 1924, some people began seeing an image of Kannon, God's representative of universal love and compassion, hovering around Mokichi. When Mokichi stood up, Kannon stood up. When he sat down, Kannon sat down. When he walked somewhere, Kannon followed him. Many were puzzled by this, including Mokichi. In December 1926, while meditating at home one night, an amazing thing happened that would change his life forever. Mokichi felt the strangest feeling arising in his heart. It was the most peaceful feeling, but it urged me to speak something out loud. His wife Yoshi ran to get paper, brush and ink, and put everything he said down on paper. Day after day, week after week, for about 3 months, words just flowed out of him. Yoshi dutifully wrote them all down. The words he spoke spontaneously told the story of the past history of Japan and foretold of startling events to come in the future. Mokichi thought the words were important. Kannon seemed to play an important role in directing the mysteriously guided words. Throughout the rest of his life, Mokichi would receive guidance from Kannon and his work as Meishusama, Master of Light. On the edge of Tokyo Bay, east of Tokyo, sits a sacred mountain known as Mount Nokogiri. One day, Meishusama received guidance from God in the form of Kannon, who told him to climb Mount Nokogiri to see the sunrise. On June 15, 1931, Meishusama followed God's guidance and led 30 people up the mountain in the dark. As the sun slowly rose above the horizon, bathing the party in golden light, Meishusama led the group in a simple prayer ceremony. Suddenly, he experienced a divine revelation that foretold of the change from an age of darkness to an age of light, and of his mission in helping this happen. He now understood clearly that humankind must work together to make this happen. After his experience on Mount Nokogiri, Meishusama became more determined and passionate about helping others in any way he could. He felt Kannon had guided him to pursue this role, so he must do his best. Later, in order to carry on his mission, he decided to create his own organization, known as the Kannon Society of Japan.
one word, if you say one word. Stephanie? Inspiration. Mike? Anything? No. Roy?
It's a story of transformation.
Story of a transformation, yes. Dan? What's that? Helping others, yes. Yes, yes. I got from this video is canon, the Meishusama's uniqueness, expressing God's compassion. Canon, did you do you remember the beautiful Guanyin in Chinese, but the canon in Japanese is a godness of mercy. This is the manifestation of God's compassion, and came to Meishusama, and it became one. And the Meishusama said, I am not myself. I don't have a freedom, but I have a greater freedom. Somebody is using me. And he became one with the canon. And instead of God, in Meishusama's case, canon, godness of mercy. And I feel this is so needed, this compassion of God. Instead of judging or fighting or destroying, more inclusive and loving and being compassionate to each other. And so this is the work we are doing. Meishusama said, when you have ohikari and giving jore, you become a canon. You become a canon, and you act like a canon. So I want you to look yourself more objectively, and am I doing like a canon? Am I controlling my anger like a canon? Am I acting as a compassionate person? In the teaching of Daijo and the Shoujo, Meishusama says, canon adapts herself to the time, place, and situation, diversifying through myriads of forms and metamorphosis. Did I say? Metamorphosis. No. To accomplish its work in the world. Canon transforms herself from moment to moment in myriad forms according to the eternal flux of the universe. Canon is sometimes known as Eugene matriarch, and this indicates exactly this function. For Eugene has a meaning to adapt oneself. Canon is capable of infinite adaptation and transformation in terms of things temporal and physical. So what's happening in this world? And we need to adapt the things happening. And recently, I have given or shown or recommended to read certain books. These are some. And this book says our time is moving so fast, and we cannot predict, we cannot use the old theories and the studies, and we cannot be logical to make this world better, a more difficult challenge. And how we can live in this world, fast changing and unpredictable and nothing certain, and how can we live in this world? Cannon's way. Cannon's way is moment from moment to moment. You adapt yourself to the situation. Isn't it easy? No, it's not easy. We try to use our old knowledge and theories, but this book says, people cannot use the knowledge they earned in MBA. Instead, people are now going to MFA. What is it? MFA. Masters of Fine Arts. Instead of Masters of Business Administration. The art is more important to see what is right, what is wrong, instead of a business school. So a lot of the elite of the business companies, they will go to museums. They're going to museums not just to enjoy the beautiful the paintings or statues, but they take training. It's called VTS, Visual Thinking Strategies. This is training the business people. They are being trained to see things. When you watch the artwork, and there are many ways to watch, even this movie, many ways to watch. And in this training, they are trained to see what's in the drawing, what's happening, why this person is doing what, and then see the deeper and the deeper. And this is trained to see the sense of beauty and sense of balance. And Cannon's way is to have a sense of balance. So I'm fascinated, to know Meishusama teaching is focused on this Cannon's way. Cannon's way is adapting, not judgmental. For instance, if you say, I'm a conservative person, and you don't have to be conservative all the time. Each moment, you have to decide what to do, what to think. Not, I'm a conservative. I don't like this, I like this. I don't like this person. I hate this person. Whatever he says, I don't want to listen. That's a wrong attitude. It's not the Cannon's way. You are stuck with old. So Cannon's way, you don't look at the persons, whether you like or not. But one way how you think is, Meishusama says, Any belief that hopes to have eternal validity must have an equal appeal to and response from everyone in the world. In other words, when you see things, is it good not only for only me, for this country, but it's good for everyone in the world? Is it good for human beings and all the animals, all plants? Is it good? Not only short time, but longer. Is it good? And then you decide. Today, we are celebrating Meishusama's birthday, and he says, try to act like a canon. And be flexible, not judgmental, but live present, moment to moment. The things are changing. And you cannot ask, what shall I do? No, you have to train yourself to be more sensitive to what's happening. And to do that, Meishusama says, look at beautiful things. Very simple. She says, aren't beautiful things wonderful? They truly soothe the heart. Kaishusama is the first president of Shumei, and she says, look at lots of excellent things, and you must learn from them. Live each day with all your might. There's no time to be lazy. Seeking beautiful things is seeking God. So that's what I got from this video.